Okay, hi everybody. This is Cindy with Magazine Mama, and today I'm super excited to have Susan Schmitz here with me. And I met Susan way back, I think, when I first started Magazine Mama. I think I had just started it. I think back in 2011 or 12. I'm not sure, around there. And I actually was renting out a studio that she had, and that's where we started teaching our photography classes and everything. So I'm really excited to have Susan here. She is an award-winning pet photographer. She's been featured locally and nationally on several blogs and magazines. She's an expert at creating composites of pet images, and she's an instructor, and now she takes groups of photographers to Africa. So there's so much we can talk about. So Susan, go ahead and say hello and just tell a little bit about yourself, if there's anything that I left out or.
Sure. Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me, Cindy. I guess I don't actually consider myself a pet photographer. I'm an animal photographer. I actually do stock photography for the animal, mainly for the animal and travel industries. And can you hear me? Because my mic was not on. Oh, yeah. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's good.
So I do stock photography mainly geared towards the animal and the travel industries. So I do a lot of work with the local animal rescue community, and I give them complimentary images of the animals for their adoption promotion. And then I resell those images to pet companies. Okay. So I try not to work actually with owned pets or the pets that come with clients themselves. I work a lot with the rescue community, and then I just resell the images commercially.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about the stock photography, because I know there's some people in my group that are interested in using the photography business to get passive income. And I know stock photography is one way because you already have the images there. So how did you get started, and what made you want to get involved with start selling your photos?
Good question. So I was doing pet photography and portraits of families, and I was kind of migrating away from the client business. And I really enjoyed spending my time volunteering with rescues, but it wasn't paying the bills. So I had to kind of figure out a way to make that happen. And just kind of saw some stuff on the internet about stock photography and started diving into it and thought I would just give it a shot. And signed up with a couple of different agencies. And, it took a long time for it to actually build up to a point where I could go full time with it. I mean, I was doing it for probably 8 years, pretty hard before I could go full time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's a lot of work at the beginning, but then once you get it going, it kind of pays off.
Yeah, it's great after a while because, it's residual income. You upload the images once, you kind of forget about them, and then they're earning money for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a volume-based thing. So I have about 9,000 images online right now.
9,000?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay. And I know you had one image that did really well, exceptionally well, the image of the dog in the bathtub that brought in a lot of revenue. Is that your highest revenue earning photo?
It's been beat out by 2 others now.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that one you're talking about was my dog, Oliver. He's adorable. Yeah. He was just kind of propped up on the side of a tub. And for some reason, it just kind of took off with the grooming industry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's all over. Actually, we see a grooming truck with that plaster on the side of it.
Oh, wow.
Over it all the time.
How exciting.
Yeah. But there's 2 others that are... they are composites of dogs and cats hanging over a white web banner. So it's used a lot for headers on social media and websites.
Okay, great. And do you think that selling stock images is good only for animals and travel, or is it good for any type of photography, any genre?
I think it's good for any type of image can sell. However, you have to submit images that are marketable, that can be used for commercial purposes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can't just go out in your backyard and take some pictures of flowers and expect them to sell, right? They have to work to sell something. So the pets work to sell a service of pet grooming or dog sitting or, pet stores and pet products. But if you take something that you like and you turn it into like commercially. So let's say you're into food photography,
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're taking photos that in a way that, it's very good quality. And so say there's like a lot of copy space on the side so people can enter their own text on it, and you're cropping it to a way that can be used for website banners. Or you just got to think like a buyer, think like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great tips. And Susan has some courses as well, and I'll put a link to under this video. So let me see what else I had to ask. So tell us a little bit about your latest adventure, traveling to Africa. That's super exciting. And it's really neat because I follow Susan on Facebook, and she's always posting inspiring images in the feed. So I love following you and watching you and all the photos and the videos that you post from Africa. It's super exciting. But tell everybody kind of what it is and how it got started.
Sure. So yeah, I took my first trip to Africa about 4 years ago, and I totally fell in love with it. Obviously I'm an animal lover, and I love travel. And so I've been back 3 other times now. And in this whole process, I also have a friend of mine, her name's April Howland. She's also loves Africa and animal lover, but she's a painter. So we kind of came together. She introduced me to the Africa Foundation, which does a lot of work for the people and the communities in Africa, and also does a lot of work with conservation. Like they own Rhinos Without Borders, and they work a lot to have the locals work with the wildlife so they get along, and they're not there's no conflict between the animals, and that kind of just helps overall with conservation. So long story, but she started doing some fundraising, raised about $40,000 to build a couple of kitchens and dining halls in some schools in some really impoverished areas of Africa. And I happened to be going to an area where she had raised funds for. When in a trip two times ago, I went to go see the school, and I saw the need that they had there. I mean, these children there was probably 200 children that attend the school that were all sleeping on the floors of classrooms because they had nowhere to sleep. There was no dining area at all. They're sitting on the ground outside in the elements. The kitchen was just a dilapidated, corrugated metal hut filled with smoke. So this organization, anyways, does a lot of work to help these types of places. The funding that she raised went towards this school. So we ended up starting our own company called Adventure Artists International. And what we do is we inspire artists to travel and to make a difference with the art that they've created from their travels.
Okay.
So an example is what April did by doing a fundraiser with her art and art of local artists to raise money to make a difference in the places that we're visiting.
Okay.
So we have a trip coming up next September 2020, to Kenya, to the Masai Mara area for the Great Migration. And that's a wildlife photographer's dream to go there. But we're also spending some time with the Africa Foundation in the same village that I was just describing. So we'll visit school, visit a new medical clinic that we built up there.
Okay, great. And so I didn't really think about it. This is for artists as well. You don't have to be a photographer. You can be like a painter or anything. Okay, that's great.
Right. And so, yeah, April will be spending some time with the artists and giving them some inspiration on how to sketch out scenes and how to come back and use their art to make a difference. And people, you don't have to be an artist or a photographer to attend. Anybody can attend. However, you just have to be willing to sit with us as we're trying to nail the shot.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask also. So you'll have some instruction on photography there as well. Is that?
Absolutely. Yeah. We travel with a company called Wild Eye, and they cater to photographers. So they provide 2 photographic guides that are excellent photographers, and I will also be on the trip offering additional assistance. I will be taking some of my own photos, but I will be providing, tips and tricks for photographers and I'm helping with editing.
Editing too. Oh, that is really great. Okay, and so do the photographers that come? Do you recommend that they have a specific kind of lenses? Because I've seen you have these huge lenses. Like, do you recommend they rent lenses for the trip, or what are your suggestions?
Yeah, well, actually, so the company that we use, they provide rentals. So I always rent from them. So I'm not carrying it with me throughout travel.
That's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the camera, the lenses there, so you bring your own body.
Yeah, or you can rent the body too. So I normally, I'll bring one body and a 70 to 200. And then when I go there, I rent the Canon 1DX Mark II and a 200 to 400 with the built-in 1.4 extender. And that's perfect setup for wildlife.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. And then if you can show us one of your photos that you have there, and is this the one that's on display as part of this Dust in the Dust series, or?
Yeah, I have an In the Dust series that's debuting on display at the Phoenix Zoo right now. It's called the Art on the Wild Side exhibit. And well, it's rather large. So this is an African elephant that I took on safari. But so the idea is that these, can you see it?
Yeah.
These endangered wildlife are emerging from plumes of dust, and it's meant to symbolize how the efforts that are being made for conservation through organizations globally, so they're not left in the dust.
Wow, that is great. I love those. Oh.
Yeah, and a portion of proceeds goes to, at the showing, goes to the Phoenix Zoo's conservation, because they really do a lot of work in conservation globally and locally. We're
really big fans of them, and that's another thing I love about you. Everything you do, it seems like you donate to different foundations and different organizations, like from your animal rescues, even to your trips to Africa. And tell us about the latest, the thing that you're raising awareness for that's affecting females in Africa. Like I hadn't even thought about it. I think it's amazing. So I'm really glad that you're bringing it to the forefront and attention to other people.
Thank you. But yeah, to touch up first on what you just said, yeah, I think it's incredibly important to me to give back to the community, and anything that I do, it's not just to benefit myself, it's to benefit the world as a whole. So yes, one of the issues that I was made aware of recently, actually my travel doctor kind of brought it up to me a couple of years ago, is the fact that girls in rural parts of Africa often end up dropping out of school when they hit puberty because they do not have the means to manage their monthly flow. So they honestly, instead of using pads, they're using like banana leaves or like the stuff, mattresses or toilet paper. So it becomes incredibly difficult for them. It creates embarrassing situations. So they just end up dropping out, or they just skip during. So I just did a fundraiser to raise money for reusable sanitary pads from a company called AfriPads. They employ local African women. And so they provide kits. Each kit has a set of 4 pads and a carrying case and an educational booklet on menstruation. And it should last a year. It's only $5 for a kit. I mean, we pay more than that for a cup of coffee here.
Yeah.
This will keep a girl in school for a year. So yeah, we raised enough for 480 kits this last trip, and it was distributed to a medical clinic up in Kenya, and then some of the girls, Maasai tribe girls that are from Wild Eye, they are going to be distributing it to different villages, including a boarding school for girls with mental and physical disabilities.
Oh wow! Okay.
And also another case went to a girl coalition in Uganda.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so great. Okay. And is all that information on your website, your main website?
Yeah.
You talked about.
Well, there's 2 separate websites. My main website is susanschmitz.com. That's where you can find my portfolio, my stock images, a link to my classes. And then also adventureartistsinternational.com is where you can find information on our trips and some local get-togethers that we have for artists and photographers that want to do a little bit more with their work and give back.
Okay, great. Well, I'll post a link below the video for both of those. And then if anyone has any questions, can they just comment below here and you can answer them?
Yes. Great.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan, for this. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
Okay. Okay.